Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the second episode of the Beginner's Guide. I guess some of you are feeling pretty comfortable with the game, just auto-attacking and using the roaming warrior to absolutely annihilate the boss, which is fair enough, but don't get too comfortable because you'll eventually hit a brick wall pretty hard. As you can see here, I've done a bit of the events for the blue planet. I made it up to the second of the elite, which is absolutely insane. I didn't think I would make it that far, but it gives you pretty good stuff. Gives you some power orbs and more mithril, which is always good. If you feel like you're going to pass the stage by using one mithril, then go for it, because you're just going to get the mithril back with some extra goodies anyway. In this episode, I want to talk firmly on party composition. I like to keep it with 2 fighters, 2 support and 1 healer for a physical based team. For a mage based team, it requires a lot more planning because you would have to focus on mage based relics, which are pretty annoying to come by sometimes. But you can mix it around a little depending which characters you get, depending which relics you got. Maybe Tyra, maybe Ramza. Tyra can be a support, can be a healer, can be... Oh, not really attacker, but sometimes people do him as an attacker, but it doesn't work out that well because his stats are relatively low. He's an all-around based character, so I'd like to keep him either in support or even as a mage is pretty fine as well. Also, depending if you want to re-roll for the Keeper's Choice banner, which I do recommend. It is a pretty decent banner if you get... Wrong one. If you get both Platinum Sword and Sentinel's Grimoire in one go, then you'd probably have a really good account already. But it does require a lot of patience. I simply don't have it. It's not essential because you'll probably get decent relics in the future from lucky draws and stuff like that. But if you have decent relics for certain characters, you may want to max out that character as soon as possible so you're able to finish as many rounds in the events as possible, as they don't actually come back. So you want to finish these events relatively quickly just to get as much mithril and much goodies as you can, such as orbs and growth eggs and stuff like that. Even though they use a ton of stamina early, it's worth getting just because of the extra orbs. Even getting the extra characters are pretty worth it, so you don't really need to use the Soul of Heroes or whatever it's called to just get them later on in the game. And plus this Soul of Hero works out in case you already have a relic for a character like Ramza, but you can't get it from a certain event, so you can just go home, the Annex, Hall of Rights, and just get the character that you want to get. And I'm actually going to get a character. I want to get Yuffie because I have a BSB already, and so she'll be a pretty essential character to my team. Just get really powerful characters. Well, not really powerful characters, just get the characters that you absolutely need to get early on, especially if you can get to the later stages of the classical dungeons. And we get a gold sword, which is awesome, and a 5-star relic, which is pretty awesome. Okay, gold sword isn't that good as a 5-star, unfortunately, but it's there. It's better than like any other one anyway, or any like 2, 3, 4 stars, so it can be useful. Yuffie's a thief, so I don't really use thieves that much. But it usually takes over support role because they have steel power, steel defense and things like that. So it's basically the same thing as a lot of support attacks like breaks, breakdowns. You probably heard of breaks and breakdowns. I'm also going to go through abilities and stuff. So first thing you want to do, because you went through quite a lot of classical dungeons, I'm betting, you want to sell all your 1 and 2 stars. Not your 3 stars just yet, but you'll consider selling your 3 stars later on anyway. Eventually when you get a lot of 4s, then you can sell your 3s. Okay, 3s can be pretty good. They do have, a lot of them do have extra effects that may be useful. Like adds a small boost to earth damage is pretty garbage, but some armor is really good because they add resistances to some stuff. So you want to keep selling, add some more space, so you don't really need to care about these ones. Even armor, you don't really need it that much. You can save some of them, but you'll get a lot better armor later on anyway. Okay. That's good enough for now. I'll do it a bit later. I don't want to steal your time. Alright, so freeing up inventory space, that's also a big thing. Now you know what to sell. I'll give you a preview of what to create and what to hone, even 5-star abilities later on in the game. So, firstly, support characters. If you're a newbie, you can highlight a character and click on usable to see what traits they have. So this combat knight support 3, white magic 4. So depending on what characters you really like, you want to base your team to a good physical composition. So like I said, Tyra can do everything. I like to keep him as a support. But so my team at the moment is knights. Knights are particularly good. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Cloud is a combat and spellblader, which is pretty good. Tyro and Walker is my supports, and Rosa is my healer. So there you go. There are some combos and stuff you can do with abilities. I'm not going to go through that just yet. I'll probably do that in another episode, just a really quick one. Okay, abilities. Let's go to abilities. So firstly, breaks. Breaks is the first thing you want to get, because combat characters can use it, like Cloud and everyone. So hooray for that. So you want to go create abilities, physical, combat, and you can see breaks. So what breaks do, well, you can create it relatively early in your game. See, I can already make power break. They lower their stat. So this one is attack of one target. This is by 30%. Later on, you need support characters because they're the only ones which use breakdowns. So breakdown is 40%. So it adds a little bit more of a decrease. And you have mental, which is a magic resistance down, magic breakdown, magic down, power breakdown, power down, armor breakdown, defense down. Full break is one of the best 5-star abilities that you want to get. So that's later on. We're still far ahead. Far behind of getting this one. Life Siphon is another ability for your combat users. It deals physical damage to one target, charge the user's soul break gauge a large amount, this by 50% more than a normal attack. So if you have decent relics like my Cloud, who has his over soul break, I want to keep Life Siphoning till he has at least one soul break gauge and then use his over strike soul break. So you can use it for many different characters, even your support characters. You may want to use it for Ramza, keep using Life Siphon and then use Shout, and then keep using Life Siphon again and use a different ability. It charges up your gauge so fast, and it makes it so useful, especially with record materials, which I'll discuss in another episode as well. Okay, so with my Thief, with Yuffie, it can be a little bit messy, because we have Steal Time, Steal HP, Steal Defense, and later on in the 4-star category, we have Steal Power, Mug Time. You want to look at Steal Power. Thief's Revenge is a pretty good 5-star as well, deals a lot of damage, but Steal Power, basically the same as a breakdown, but it enhances your attack as well. That's actually by 50%, so it's as good as Shout. Other than that, Steal Defense is alright as well. Steal Defense can work instead of using like Armor Breakdown. So like I said, a Thief can replace a support character. Okay. Of course you want to get White Magic. The most obvious ones is Kiraga, Kiraja, Shelga, Protector. You want to put your White Mage with either Shelga or Protector and a Kiraja or Kiraga. So that's your White Mage for you. Dancers can be pretty useful as well. If you can't do physical damage, you may need to use dancing. I usually put it with Tyro because Tyro can use everything. So we go group 2. I think Yuffie can use dancers as well. Pretty much the same thing as well, but this is actually AoE, so it can work heavily in your favor, especially with multi-break, which is a full break to every single enemy, and it's one of the best abilities there is at the moment, so that's really good. And my thing just decided to freeze. Alright, I'm back. So we have other dances, magic breakdown type dances to all enemies, so all these can be pretty useful. Then we have situational abilities, so you can look through them yourself, because I'm not going to spoon feed you all these skills because they're a fuck ton and I don't really feel like it. But yeah, they really do help depending on your situation. Magic, even physical stuff like spell blades, which I talked about before, can be pretty useful if you need to expose an element. Same with magic. You probably know what Blizzaga and all this stuff. Definitely useful for your black mages when you have a mage team. Later on you'll probably have mage teams with Waterjar, Thundaga, Blizzaga, and everything like that. Everything in the book. And then we have summoning abilities, which super powerful AoE attacks, which you'll probably look up yourself, really. If you're not using black magic, then you'll be using summons, really, so not too important. You can look at their abilities. Abilities can be pretty useful, like Carbuncle, Reflect All Allies can be very useful. Some not so useful. I remember using Kieran for quite a long time. Regen to all allies can be pretty powerful. But then there are default soul breaks which do the same thing, like Lena's default soul break does the same thing, so you may want to look at some default soul breaks if you don't have many relics. But I think early on a lot of people will have a lot of relics. You have Silence, Silence Go and stuff like that as well. Okay. Knight abilities, since we do have a knight, I'll probably be looking at this as well. We have Celerity as well, I forgot to mention that, but you can look at that yourself. This one's particularly important, Tempo Flurry, which does slow. Okay, where is my knight abilities? Knight. I don't think it's in I think it's in this one. There you go. So knight ones, they're not really categorized, but it's down here. We have Draw Fire, can be really useful. One combo that everyone used to use at the start was Draw Fire and Retaliate. Retaliate counters any physical attack. I can't find it at the moment, but it's somewhere around here. So Draw Fire, you probably know what it does. Divert all single target physical attacks to them, sorry. So use Draw Fire, then Retaliate, so it counters all physical attacks. So that's a really powerful combo. Banishing Strike is one I really want to look at. Physical holy damage to one target and dispel it. Because your healer will have a Shelga and a heal, you won't have space for a dispel if you need it, so having a knight can be pretty essential because you can just use Banishing Strike for that. Okay, I think that's everything. It will give you a pretty good start anyway of what to get. Definitely the breaks are probably the most important. Then you can look at 4 stars pretty early on because you get quite a lot of orbs at the start for a new character now, so it's not too bad. You get a better start than what we had when I started anyway. Like I said, definitely look at the usable skills of a character. These are really important. The equipment you can pretty much get used to. I pretty much memorized what's support and what's combat and stuff. I'm sure you guys can get the hang of things as well. Like I said, I don't want to spoon feed you all this information. I think the best way is to do it yourself. Okay, so since we have touched up on abilities, let's talk about the best way to get orbs for a newbie. You're not gonna like it, but multiplayer and getting carried is absolutely the best way because you can get major orbs, and major orbs you can exchange into 10 greater orbs. So event, raid dungeons, and you can start up a multiplayer. If you're not sure how to do multiplayer, then you can just do one. I'm sure you'll find a normal one, but it's basically the same as a normal one. You can see I mastered pretty much everything on the thing, on the events already. I had help with my Discord, and if you need help, then the Discord can help you as well. The link is in the description if you need it. But yeah, these are the mastery rewards. Really can help you out, especially this ultimate, because it gives major black orbs, major fire orbs. So it will be a huge swing in your favor if you have friends, like I said, or you can join our Discord, or if you have any other group, you can ask them to do you a favor and carry you along for the Ultimate Plus / Apocalypse fights to get extra stuff. Also, I want to do this. So when you get growth eggs, you can just use them on your best character. I used all my growth eggs on Cloud because I'm going to use him for the long run because of his OSB. I'll probably be doing exactly the same for Yuffie as well. To get through these events can be pretty tough, so I'm going to get rid of Walker and use Yuffie. Use my growth eggs. We're going to get a lot of growth eggs. I believe we get 5 at the start already because of the event that's going on right now. But you may log into the game at a different time, so you may have different bonuses. But stick with the game and see what you get. What do I want to say? Yeah, plan using your mithril wisely if you're free to play. Lucky draws, like the one I did in the first episode, I want to do always. So always keep at least 50 mithril in your pocket, just in case you want to do those lucky draws, because these ones come relatively often. These lucky relic draws, so you want to do these, especially if you're free to play, because you'll probably have not many of these relics in general anyway. Like I said, half price mithril relic draws can come once, twice, even 3 times a month sometimes, depending on these events. And then there are celebration draws, which usually have a ton of good relics, which comes every 3 to 4 months. The next one is in March, which is the 2nd anniversary, so you can expect those banners to be pretty big and pretty great. So I'll be saving for the next lucky draw. The next lucky draw is on the 15th of February, which is a dungeon update, sorry, with Final Fantasy 8, 12, and 11, I think. So definitely save for that one. Don't bother with these ones just yet. Save heavily on the lucky draws if you can. If not, if you really want synergy, then pull for your favorite characters, I guess. But it's up to you, really, how you use your mithril. But I say use it very wisely if you're free to play. Like I said, the Keeper's Choice is probably the best way to go if you really want to use 50 mithril straight away. But then there are other good relics as well. So don't worry too much. Definitely have fun with the game. Keep going with the realm dungeons. Like I said, juggle between realms and events. See if you can get through them. And I think that's all I wanted to cover in this episode. Sorry I was a little bit iffy on this episode because it's past 2 AM and I'm doing this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like because it really does help me out and it helps me know if you want more of these type of episodes, because it does take up quite a lot of my time as well. So hope you have a good one and peace out.